Have you ever wondered what true love and forgiveness look like? A question as old as time, yet its depth is still uncharted. Love and forgiveness are virtues that define our humanity, but their true essence often eludes us. What does it mean to love unconditionally, to forgive even when it seems impossible? These are questions that have puzzled philosophers and scholars for centuries. Today we dive into a timeless tale that beautifully illustrates these virtues, the parable of the prodigal son. Imagine an affluent father with two sons, and the younger one decides to take his share of the inheritance early. In this tale of love and forgiveness, we find the younger son, brimming with youthful audacity, approaching his father with an unusual request. He asks for his share of the inheritance ahead of time, a request that, in those times, would have been seen as a grave insult, akin to wishing his father dead. Yet the father, in his boundless love, grants his son's request. The son, now with wealth in his hands, packs his bags and sets off, leaving behind the comfort and familiarity of his home. His heart is filled with dreams of freedom and the allure of a life unfettered by the constraints of his father's house. He yearns for the thrill of the unknown, the excitement of new experiences, and the allure of a life lived on his own terms. As he ventures into the world, the son indulges in a life of reckless abandon, squandering his wealth on fleeting pleasures and frivolous pursuits. He revels in his newfound freedom, oblivious to the impending consequences of his actions. The wealth that once seemed inexhaustible gradually dwindles, vanishing as quickly as it had come. But soon, the prodigal son finds himself in dire straits, penniless and hungry, after squandering his wealth. This is the turning point in our tale where the son's journey takes a dramatic turn, setting the stage for a profound lesson in love and forgiveness. In his misery, the son decides to return home, prepared to beg his father to accept him back as a servant. With a heavy heart and a body worn thin by hardship, he begins his journey back to the home he once took for granted. This journey, fraught with uncertainty, is a stark contrast to his earlier departure filled with dreams of freedom and grandeur. Every step he takes is a reminder of his folly, of the wealth he wasted, and the love he scorned. His thoughts are dominated by fear and apprehension. How would his father react? Would he be welcomed or shunned? The son knows he doesn't deserve forgiveness, yet he clings to a sliver of hope. He rehearses his plea for mercy, intending to ask his father not for a son's place but for a servant's. He feels the weight of his sins and is ready to pay the price. Yet, as he nears his home, his heart pounds not just with fear but also with a sense of longing. He yearns for the warmth of his father's home, the comfort of his family's love. His mistakes have stripped him of his arrogance, leaving behind a humble and repentant soul. He is no longer the reckless young man who left home. He is a person shaped by the harsh lessons of life. The son's journey back is more than a physical one. It's a spiritual journey, a path of self-realization and penance. He has come to understand the value of family, of love, and of forgiveness. He has learned that freedom without responsibility is but an illusion, and wealth without love is emptiness. His return signifies his transformation, his growth from a thoughtless youth to a repentant man. It's a testament to his courage, his willingness to face the consequences of his actions, and his sincere desire for redemption. But to his surprise, the father's reaction is far from what he expects. The father's response, which we'll delve into in the next scene, is a poignant reminder of the boundless love and forgiveness that forms the very core of this parable. The father, seeing his son from afar, runs to him, embraces him, and welcomes him home with open arms. In this moment, we witness a profound display of love and forgiveness that transcends human understanding. The father's reaction is not one of anger, resentment, or disappointment as one might expect. Instead, he is filled with relief and jubilation. His son, once lost, is found, once dead is alive again. The father's heart wells up with a love that knows no bounds, a love that endures, forgives, and welcomes back without a trace of condemnation or reproach. This is the love of a father who has been waiting, day after day, at the edge of his property, hoping to catch a glimpse of his wayward son on the horizon. The father who, upon seeing his son, doesn't wait for the son to come to him. He runs. He runs with a speed that belies his age, propelled by a love that knows no restraint. This father doesn't just welcome his son back, he celebrates his return. He orders his servants to bring out the best robe, a ring, and sandals, symbols of honor, authority, and belonging. He commands that a feast be prepared, a grand celebration, for his son who was lost is now found. The father's forgiveness is not contingent on the son's apology or his promise to do better. It is offered freely, abundantly, without condition. The son's brokenness and repentance are met with the father's mercy and grace. The father doesn't dwell on the past, on the son's mistakes, or his wasted inheritance. Instead, he focuses on the present, on the joy of his son's return, on the restoration of their relationship. Here, in the father's response, we see a reflection of God's love for us, a love that is patient, that is kind, that keeps no record of wrongs, a love that rejoices in the truth, always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And thus, the Father shows us the true meaning of love and forgiveness. So what does this parable teach us? From the story of the prodigal son, we can draw several profound lessons. Firstly, it underscores the power of unconditional love. The father's love for his son never wavers, not even when he squanders his inheritance and returns home empty-handed. This unconditional love mirrors the divine love that is ever present regardless of our shortcomings. Secondly, the parable emphasizes the beauty of forgiveness. The father doesn't hesitate to forgive his son, signifying that forgiveness is not only possible, but it's also a choice that brings peace and reconciliation. Lastly, the parable celebrates the joy of a sinner's repentance. The father's joy when his lost son returns is immense, symbolizing the joy in heaven when a sinner repents. These lessons remind us that no matter how lost we might feel, how far we've strayed, it's never too late to turn back. In the end, the parable of the prodigal son shows us that love and forgiveness are boundless, and there is always hope for redemption.